Viewers, welcome back. India is just days away from scripting history. We are talking about Chandrayaan 3. The countdown has for the soft landing has begun. The country is waiting with bated breath. A billion hopes are pinned on this mission. A comeback stint after Chandrayaan 2, even as we wait for an exciting finish.
Chandrayaan 3 objectives are different, not for increasing that launching the satellite. The purpose is to demonstrate a new landing technology, at the same time to do the science on the moon in the unexplored regions of the moon.
There's a lot of difference, firstly in the mindset. What is happening is in Chandrayaan 2, the whole project was made keeping in fact that it is going to be a success. So the idea is to show the world that the soft landing can be done. Legs of the lander have been strengthened. Even if one leg is broken, still it will land. Rover will come out, it will go up to 500 meters around the lander and then do testing. One of the main issues which they are trying to search for is there water and ice in ice form on the surface of the moon.
Chandrayaan 3 mission was originally meant for the study of the moon. Study of the moon is in a very broad sense. It's about the surface, about the interior, and about the atmosphere that is around the moon. On 23rd August takes place in a satisfactory manner. You can imagine the whole new world will open before ISRO. One of the main aims, the various countries are headed towards the moon. So obviously, eventually, India also can think in those terms.
Although Chandrayaan 2 failed in just the stage of the landing, but the rest of the mission targets were all achieved, and the orbiter of Chandrayaan 2 is still successfully working. In fact, it is going to be used as part of the operations in Chandrayaan 3. We will demonstrate that India has learned how to take care of this critical aspect of making a soft landing on the moon, which will be useful for all future moon missions. And in addition, the rover will be doing certain amount of experiments. All of that knowledge and information will be used and folded in future moon missions for whatever the targets we set.
Let's open this up. Suresh Naik, former Group Director, ISRO. Dr. Surendra Pal, former Senior Advisor, Satellite Navigation, ISRO. Eminent people now joining us on Times Now. Gentlemen, good evening. Good to have both of you with us. Dr. Pal, how are you feeling, sir? I want to know from you, what are you thinking about Chandrayaan 3?
Well, I feel very confident and elated that we have reached to that stage where we will be landing very safely. I'm quite confident about it. The amount of improvements which have been done on the lander and also over the overall mission, based on the lessons learned from Chandrayaan 2, I mean, particularly for the lander portion. Otherwise, the orbiter is working wonderfully well. So I'm quite confident and elated, and I'm very hopeful that we will land softly. It will be a soft landing. We'll conduct all the 6 experiments which are there on that one. And of course, one laser reflectometer is there on the lander. So we can find out the exact distance from Earth to Moon. So I'm quite confident about it.
Now, before I bring in Mr. Suresh Naik, we have a first viewer from Mumbai. Vaishnavi ji is now joining us. Ma'am, this is your channel. Good evening. Go ahead.
Hello, my name is Vaishnavi and I'm a student from Billabong High School and I'm interested in space-related topics. So when can us Indians make a man-made mission on the moon or Mars?
Thank you, Vaishnavi, for connecting. Thank you for sharing that question. Mr. Suresh Naik, would you want to answer that question asked by Vaishnavi, who's a school student?
Yeah, actually, we are in fact trying to achieve our immediate goal of soft landing of the robotic mission on the moon. That is a very important step before we can think of sending a human on moon. And secondly, we have yet to prove our technology to send a human in space, that is in about 300 to 400 kilometer orbit. So these two are prerequisites for our thinking of going to moon. And this particular challenge of sending human to the moon is much more complex, and it will take at least a few years after we demonstrate our capability of sending a human in space. So I would say that we have to wait a little bit longer for that kind of ambitious plan to happen, that is sending human on the moon.
Okay. Mr. Deshpande is now joining us from Nagpur. Sir, good evening.
Good evening. Yes, sir.
Go ahead, sir. What would you like to say?
You see, what I would like to say, I'm terribly excited. I'm now 76 years old. In 1969, I heard on radio Neil Armstrong on moon. But I am more excited now because India also considered a backward country, knew nothing. But what they are doing now is a very advanced country and at a very low cost, and they have commercialized it.
Right. I understand your sentiments, Mr. Deshpande. Thank you for connecting. Dr. Pal, I mean, there are many people like Mr. Deshpande who are both ecstatic about what we've achieved and yet, want India to take the next big leap.
Yeah, I think I'll reply both the things. I'll add to my friend Dr. Suresh Naik. For the young lady first, I think she may be the first astronaut to go to moon. That is one thing. Let us hope so. Second thing is that myself and Dr. Naik come in the same category as Mr. Deshpande talked about it. Yes, it's possible. We took years for going for Chandrayaan 1 to Chandrayaan 2. Between Chandrayaan 2 to Chandrayaan 3, we have taken only 4 years. So I'm sure it will be very fast when in the future to do it with our industries and also ISRO gaining this experience. It's an invaluable experience. Others won't go give this sort of knowledge to us. We are gaining it. And I'm quite hopeful that after the Gaganyaan flight, maybe one day, after a couple of years or maybe a decade, I don't think more than decade, one may think in India that yes, we can go to the outer space, maybe moon to first and then later on somewhere else.
Okay.
So I'm quite hopeful about it.
Fingers
I know
crossed,
that we have got the technology.
Okay. Mr. Sundar now joining us from Hyderabad. Sir, good evening.
Good evening, sir. Can I talk, sir?
We can hear you, sir. Go ahead, make your point.
Yeah. Sir, I'm congratulating India in advance, sir. There is no doubt and no question mark on landing. We fully support ISRO and believe in ISRO. In advancedly, I'm congratulating every Indian, sir.
Thank you. We share your sentiment, Mr. Sundar. Mr. Chatterjee now joining us from Hyderabad. Sir, good evening. I think we've lost that line. Let me bring in Mr. N.R. Prasad joining us from Bengaluru. Sir, good evening. This is your channel. Mr. Prasad, if you can hear me, sir.
Can hear you.
Go ahead, sir, please.
Good evening, Times Now. I'm so happy and delighted. Can you hear my voice?
We can hear you loud and clear, sir. I request you to please mute the television set in the background.
This is a wonderful job. This is a wonderful job done by the ISRO team. And hats off to Union government for supporting ISRO so much. And this time I am 100% sure it will land on the August 23rd. Personally, I am also feeling very happy and excited because 23rd August happens to be my birthday. I will be celebrating my birthday when ISRO lander will land on the moon, and I can't have a better gift other than this. Thank you giving me the opportunity for speaking.
That's wonderful, Mr. Prasad. We wish you a happy birthday in advance. Mr. Malik now joining us from Gurugram. Sir, good evening.
I have two questions, please. One is, what happens if the rover gets stuck in the rocks? Number two, what about the signals? The Soviet satellite can also catch our signal also. Is it safe enough?
Okay, let's have those two questions answered. Mr. Naik, would you like to take the questions?
Yeah, actually, I would like to answer the second question first. We all know that Soviet Lunar 25 lander also is going to land in the southern region of moon, and it is also a very close sort of date. I think they are landing on 21st or 22nd, and we are landing on 23rd. So there is a concern among the people that whether there will be interference in communication between these two landers. But what I would like to make clear here is the distance between them is something like 400 kilometers. And secondly, there is actually what we incorporate in the design is a compatibility with other interfering signals. So we have taken care sufficiently to avoid this kind of interferences by building into the design any interference coming from outside. So first question I don't remember.
He's saying what happens to the rock. Dr. Pal, if you could take the first question, if you heard it.
Yeah, you see, I'll answer, briefly both the questions. First is, this time lander has got multiple, redundancies inside it, and we have got the hazardous monitoring camera. It avoids the hazard. Suppose if you are on the rock or in the crater, it can give the signals, and there will be an internal loop is there, software loop, which will make the rover, make the lander hover over it. So we will go to the safe place. If not on the targeted place, we can go and land somewhere else. So that's one thing, it can take care of that one. Then we have got a laser, velocity meter or Doppler measurement. Then carb and altimeter is there. So, and the cameras are there, off camera, front camera. So all these things will take care. And then where we are going to land, those photographs will be matched with the photographs already taken. There's a photograph is stored inside it. So all precautions are taken, not only double, triple redundancy we have got. So first thing. Second thing is why interference will not occur, because everybody has got a separate frequency.
Okay.
And the ground stations have got the,
So overlapping is ruled out. That's a good point. Now let's quickly take in more viewers joining us. David joining us from Kochi. Sir, good evening. Go ahead.
Yes, excuse me for my question. If it is something the Prime Minister or respected most dignitaries scientists defense objects, have we got any material benefits by going to moon, or just this an imitation to become a superpower along with the other powers? Or we are going to get anything precious by mining there, or some precious things which are not found in the earth? After a few years, we can also get into that row of people going into the moon. So.
Right, not sure about the material benefits, but I'm sure the details which will come out, those will be more than precious. Thank you, Mr. David, for asking that question. Sharan Puri now joining us from Bengaluru. Sir, go ahead.
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir. First, I'm very much delighted and congratulate the entire ISRO team and the Union Ministry who had made this mission successful. And also, I wish some more mission like Mangalyaan will come and India will succeed. Since India has a very great capabilities which we are seeing which we have learned from Vedas period.
So first, I wish more and more missions come from ISRO, and I wish all the very best for the future projects.
Thank you, Mr. Puri, for connecting. 30 seconds coming to you, Dr. Pal. Material benefits, would you like to answer that?
No, you see, the amount of data, scientific data which we get that's much more precious and costlier than the material benefits. So one day we will we'll go there and mine moon also, but the data, the scientific knowledge which we will gain is much more than that, and the technology which will master it, in soft landing, in sending the spacecraft to other planets, outer space, etc., is much more. So experience we gain is much more. I mean, even if we get a lot of diamonds or gold, it's much more. What we gain by experience is much more costlier than that.
Thank you, Suresh Naik, Dr. Pal, both of you for joining us, taking those questions and clarifying, answering some of the queries of our viewers. This is the most immersive and non-stop coverage in the run-up to the landing of Chandrayaan 3. Thanks for joining us on Times Now.